When we organized the Building Movement project back in the late 90s, we were organizing in response to what we saw as a change, the corporatization of the sector in a way that was not fulfilling the needs of families or staff, for that matter.
There was a lot of writing about outcome-based evaluation and things like that. I mean, stuff that there were a lot of insights into what they were saying, and it was also a certain level of arrogance. And so I got involved with the Building Movement Project because I thought I want to figure out what truths can be gleaned from this, and also how to oppose the stuff that I thought was really harmful to the way organizations were being counseled by grant makers, most of whom had never spent one day in the trenches and knew almost nothing.
The Building Movement Project was really an organization that was committed to learning from the people most affected by the issues that are making their lives difficult. And those issues can be very personal issues, or those issues can be systemic issues. And usually it's a combination of both. But what Building Movement did is it put statistics and hard data behind people's lived experience.
Once we created the Social Service Social Change Guidebook, we actually had a thing that we could go out into other communities and sort of talk about what we had learned here in Detroit. So Detroit was a wonderful laboratory in that regard, and we want to thank the Detroiters who allowed us to learn and participate and create from that.
Just that, my goodness, what's happening in South LA is very similar to what Detroit is experiencing. Soon enough, I learned that different places that were majority Black or majority Black and brown were really suffering and feeling the effects of decades of public and private divestment.
We just listened to Linda. We came to Detroit. She tried to show us what she was seeing. And then over time, now you have this powerful organization, but it didn't start that way. It didn't just evolve. It was really an iterative process. And I just wanted to make sure that we keep that value of Building Movement, that you're not just going with what is, you're going with the possibility of what could be.
BMP's work was ahead of the curve in that it helped spotlight and shine a light on the role of the sector that was more comprehensive, that we didn't have to just do justice work and advocacy and organizing, or work to meet the immediate needs of Black and brown and poor people. We actually can think of that holistically and can build strategies and skills and capacity in the sector to actually lean into that work.
There was also building movement work that required different lenses of organizational structure and leadership. And later on, as we saw more and more of the tensions around generations, that also became, these are the things that could either be a catalyst or barrier to movement building. So how do we actually study it and offer different solutions and identify it as these are also a very important part of movement building.
BMP's work to meld and bring the best of organizing and a commitment to the voice and power of the constituency with understanding the real value of quality provision of services that help people address individual challenges and needs. That combination of things, I think, really was ahead of the curve and really helped to move several organizations around the country in terms of how they did work that both met immediate needs of families and their communities, and also paved the way for organizations to be demanding bigger systemic and structural change from policymakers and local governments.